Hi there. In a world where nothing is certain, that means anything is possible, right? If you want to fulfill your dreams and desires, you are in the right place. You absolutely can have a life of happiness. Everyone deserves an abundance of love, laughter, success, health, and wealth. I'm Tara Chadzakis, and you're listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. The show that brings you meditation, mindset, and motivation. So start by giving yourself permission to be awesome. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hi, and welcome to this episode of Happy, Inspired, Motivated. Today I am joined by Julie Foucht. Yes, she said it rhymed with couch, Foucht. And she is a witch who has turned feminine marketing or turned marketing upside down into the feminine energy. Now, Julie became a coach after she left an abusive marriage. And she didn't know how to market. So she trained with somebody who would teach her about marketing a business. And she felt that she was marketing like a man, which didn't really sit very well with her. And she branched out and really tapped into her power of, I'd like to say, I can't call it witchcraft, using her inner energy, her inner goddess that she was trying to hide through her coaching, because it was very strategic and very the basic strategies of life coaching. And she wanted a much more feminine energy in that. So she works with people and she helps them tap into their feminine energy, helps them heal childhood traumas, past life traumas as well, which are wounds that she says are great to understand so you can move forward in your marketing, because your marketing should involve your wounds, because that's what makes you attractive to certain people. We talk about what she calls the pussy tingle, which I was a bit unsure about what she meant, but you'll understand it as we're going through, because I was quite, okay, it means the same in the UK as it does in the US. So we talk about that and how that helped her with her decorating of her house. We talk about using art as a creative expression, how to ground with Mother Earth, how to step into your power. And Julie's business is based around the art of feminine business. So she likes to bring her clients into the feminine energy. She has a feminine business, Sistermind, which I thought was a really great change of vocabulary there. And she's also lots of new exciting plans for 2022. She's also giving you a free gift, is Julie. So she is offering you the Wise Witch free download, which is rituals to raise your vibration and increase your income. Julie also has a free Facebook group that you can join. You'll learn more about that in the episode. I'm so excited to introduce Julie to you. I had an absolutely fantastic interview with her, and lots of things came up for me, especially my past life as a witch, which I hadn't realized, should I say, that I had an outstanding vow or contract of life that I was still holding on to. And after the episode with Julie and her insight and wisdom, I released that and really tapped into connecting with that older version of myself from my past life. So lots came up for me. I'm sure it will for you too. Julie's feminine business method is really in alignment with the things that I'm teaching and the way that we're going forward into this new 5D energy that I've been talking about for the past month and harping on about. And I'm sure you know everything about it now, because I've talked about it and I'm sure you've researched it too. But it's really about raising your vibrational energy to match the energies of the universe. Oh, and don't forget, if you haven't yet bought your ticket for the Awaken workshop on the 3rd of January, please do so. Prices go up on the 24th of December. I've already got some amazing women signed up to join me for this workshop, and I would love for you to join me too. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Julie Foucht. So hi, Julie, and welcome to Happy, Inspired, Motivated. How are you doing today?
I am so excited to be here with you.
It's such an honor to have you on my show. Yeah, welcome. I'm so glad that you decided to join us. Whereabouts are you based?
So I'm on the central coast of California, just outside of Monterey.
Nice. I've never been to California, but it looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, well, we have our backyard literally take 2 steps out of our backyard, and we've got acres and acres of Bureau of Land Management land. So we've got wilderness out there,
Nice.
and I'm about a 14-minute drive to the ocean. So sometimes my business is like, today we need to go work on the ocean. We'll just
Nice.
sit over there. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really beautiful.
and I suppose the weather's is reasonably good there the whole year round. So, you can up and sticks whenever you feel like it.
It is reasonably, we had torrential downpours 2 days ago, but it's sunny again. I lived outside of Seattle for 20 years.
Yeah.
And when I moved here, I was like, okay, even if it's overcast for a day, I will see the sky again,
Yeah, I can imagine Seattle's completely different to California.
It's very different. It's beautiful up there, but it's so overcast and it gets dark so early this time of year. We were just up there for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. And everything is like, it's cold in your bones. It's so damp there that you just get cold. The cold here is a little different. And it's colder here.
Yeah, of course. And it's a little, I suppose if it's dry cold, it's not as bad. So you can wrap up warm with dry cold. But when I lived in Greece and it was really, really damp in the winter, yeah, it gets into your bones and you just can't shift it until the sun comes back. It's like, it's there for the whole season. My goodness. So I'm so honored that you decided to join me today. And I'd love for you to start by telling my listeners how you got started in your working life and what led you to who you are today.
Oh, that's such a big question. I was raised in a family where the girls were expected to get married and support their husbands. Mm-hmm. And so right out of high school, I got married. And
living the dream.
And my high school boyfriend turned out to be somewhat of a bully. And so I lived for 20 years in an abusive relationship. I raised my kids there. And when I left, I decided I stayed because I didn't know that I could make enough money to support my kids.
Yeah.
And so it was like this choice of, this is the lesser of two evils, maybe. But regardless, I stayed. And when I left that relationship, I really was on fire with this idea of helping women make money and helping women to be self-sufficient. Because if I had had enough money, I would have left much earlier. Yeah. If I had known that I could make my own money, I would have left much earlier.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was going to do with that mission. I was just like, this has got to be different for women. And I did some personal development courses, discovered life coaching, got my certification through the Coaches Institute, and started coaching business women.
Okay.
And I was very masculine about it. I was, here's how you do formulas. Here's how you create your website. Here's how you do a funnel, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then in the coaching, I would sneak in my little bit of woo-woo. So I might be on a coaching
I love woo-woo.
No, I don't know why I was being sneaky.
We do though, because we think you can't be a professional businesswoman if you have any woo involved. It has to be all, like you say, the masculine energy and strategy and all this kind of stuff. Because if you introduce the woo, then it's not going to work or it's not applicable.
Yeah, I remember when I came out of the closet, so to speak, and I
the woo closet,
and I sent an email, and it said something like, and sometimes I'll even pull a tarot card in the middle of a coaching call to help guide the conversation, which now is just like so mild compared to what I do. But I remember sitting there at the breakfast table. I had my laptop in front of me. My husband looked at me and he's like, are you sure you want to do this? And I said, I don't think I have a choice. I was really being led to fully bring all of me into my business. And I sobbed. I pushed the send button. I sobbed. And my business has never been the same since. It's a lot more financially successful. I'm drawing in exactly the right clients. The work that I do with my clients is so much deeper and so much more healing, so that they can then stand on their own 2 feet, have the business foundation to go really create success for themselves. And so it was that process of me bringing all of me into my business that finally resulted in the success I wanted. And, I pretty much work part-time. My team is like, when are you available?
It's not too bad, I suppose. It's like listening to your story is very similar to mine. So I was in a marriage that wasn't very healthy. And I didn't leave for a long time because of the same reasons. I thought I had to stay there. I thought I'd made my bed, I had to lie in it. I didn't think I could cope on my own, but I'd been programmed by him to believe that. So, it was very much sort of very similar in those lines. And the same with my coaching as well. When I started coaching, I was trying to be very, I say professional, not that I'm not professional now, but I was in the old professional school, if that makes sense. And I didn't want to talk about anything to do with law of attraction or the universe or anything like that, because I didn't think people would take it seriously. But once you step into it, you feel relieved. And also, like you said, you get the right clients. You get the ones that resonate with you. I mean, I know you've said that you hired a coach to help you in the early days, and he taught you how to, as you say, market like a man, which is completely different. I mean, the energy is very different. Can you explain that a little bit to us?
Yeah. And, when women entered the workplace in big numbers back in the 1980s, the only examples we had to emulate were men. And you can even see that in the style of the 1980s, the big shoulders, narrow skirts. We were even changing our bodies to look more like men.
Oh my God, you haven't thought about that. You mean like the shoulder pads that we used to wear?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, of course. I didn't think about that, but yeah, it's true.
I remember putting, like stuffing them in my jacket. And so we come at this from a masculine viewpoint. And if we look at the world today, we can actually pick it out. The masculine wants to dominate. It wants to push. It wants to compete. There's, I had a friend post the other day, a male friend, and he said, who's ready to crush it? And I'm like, I'm not crushing anything. It's not. The feminine is creative. She's collaborative. She's about community. She's about connection. And when we think about that, we're taught in business. When I first started, I was taught make collaborations with people who don't compete with you, right? They do something for your tribe that's different from what you do. And so there was this built-in, anybody who does something similar, there's a built-in competition.
Yeah.
And the reality of that is there's only competition if there's scarcity in the world.
That's so beautiful. It's so true. Yeah, it is. Like you said, competition, we believe that everyone's competition until we think that way.
Yeah. And from doing the law of attraction, that there's not a scarcity of anything.
No.
There's only our inability to receive. And competition shuts down our receiving channels so that we can't receive as much. So when we go into collaboration, we are open, and we are open for money and clients and more abundance to come through us. So that's where the masculine way of business and the feminine way of business begin to differ. Now we've got to understand that masculine is lower energy masculine. So lower energy masculine is a bully. It dominates. Then we start to open our channels up, when we start to connect more deeply with source, the universe, God, whatever your language is. When we do that connection and we open so that our feminine energy is allowed to flow through us and contribute, then our vibration starts to go up. And the feminine, when it's at its low vibration, is very manipulative. It gets its way through trickery. In its high vibration, it creates solutions and answers to problems that we didn't even know existed. Like it creates a new way of doing things in the world that is going to be more healing for the planet. And when the feminine starts to raise its vibration in that way, the masculine comes along with it, because the masculine is designed to support the feminine. And so if the feminine's rising, the masculine rises to continue to support. And the masculine at its highest vibration is in a fully supportive role of the feminine, so that the actions you take, because we can't just be all in our feminine and expect our business to grow.
No, it has to be a good balance. Yeah.
It has to be both. But the masculine can then come in and take the actions that are aligned with your soul, because the feminine has created the opening for it.
Beautiful. Yeah, I really love that. I read on your website that you have, obviously you've remarried now, and you have an extremely supportive husband. How has he helped you in your business? Because you've been the other way around. You were supporting your husband originally when you were straight out of high school, and now the tables have turned. How does it feel to have a supportive husband in your business?
It was interesting. It was really hard at first because, coming out of the marriage I came out of, I was like, I can do it myself, right? And I was challenged to look at, but how does the masculine and the feminine look? How do they support each other? And so I had some conversations with my husband, because he is divine. He is just so supportive, and sometimes even overly supportive, I was getting laundry out of the dryer and he's like, I'll do that. Like, no, it's okay. I got the laundry. But so he actually came into my life to be support. So we had to have these conversations, and I had to let go. And he, the role he has in my business now is that he actually edits anything that comes out. So any emails, any web copy, anything, he'll go through and edit and fine tune. Excuse me. But it was more a process for me of being able to let go and receive help. And it really helped with training me to lead a team, so that with my team, I can say, here's a project, go do it, let go. And when you learn to receive, it's part of the process of earning more income, is opening to receive. So he's helped me in terms of learning how to receive assistance, how to receive more money, how to be in gratitude, rather than, the Helen Reddy song, I am woman, hear me roar, I can do it all. We shouldn't be doing it all. Maybe we can, but we certainly shouldn't.
No, it is very, like you said, because you've come from, or many of us come from the background where the men are the stronger force in the relationship, and then to leave and be like, okay, now I'm doing this in my feminine energy for women, and then a man comes along and wants to support you or wants to be there, and you have to give something to him, and it's quite difficult to release and let go and give and allow him to be a part of your feminine energy. That's quite, and it sounds it's very brave, is what I'm thinking.
Oh, thank you. I think it's all part of the growth process. And as I think about this, one of the big keys to my success, and one of the things that I teach my clients is, where does your income come from? Where does your abundance come from? Where does support come from? And it doesn't come from you. It doesn't come from your clients. It doesn't come from your spouse. It all comes from source. So source is my source. And being able to let go a little bit of some of the business activities lets me be in correct relationship to source, which is, I don't get to control it all, right?
Yeah.
Do my part. And so if I'm doing my part, connecting with source and allowing source to make everything else happen for my benefit, then I have greater results. If I'm trying to control everything and shut off the outside help, the outside support, then I'm shutting down source.
Yeah.
And I'm shutting down that energy that allows me, and you know this because you teach this.
Yeah.
But, just practicing this with my husband and practicing it with my team helps me to build that muscle of letting go of what I can't control and giving it to source.
Perfect. Yeah, source energy is something that not many of us tap into, even though it's always there working with us. We just don't realize the more we're fighting to be in control all the time, the more we're shutting the door to allowing more coming to us. So it's really important to release and let go. I mean, I must admit, I'm not very good at that. I do need work on that myself, but it's a process.
It's a process. Well, and it's the human process. It's part of what we came to the planet to learn, because we come to this planet, we come out of source energy, we're in the womb, all our needs are taken care of, and then boom, we're out in the world and we're like, why are my needs not being taken care of? Why do I have to cry? What the heck? And we go through a series of wounding experiences growing up. Now, those wounding experiences build great skill sets in us.
Yeah.
One of the things we learn is I can't count on people. So I have to only count on myself. And that's something we then have to unlearn. And I will tell you, I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of people, and I have never met someone who hasn't had some kind of wounding experience in their childhood. It is the way as humans we build skills. So it's really natural to think if I can control everything, then I can avoid pain.
Yeah.
And so then we have to unlearn that.
It's hard sometimes to identify what it was, though, isn't it? You say everyone's had a wounding experience in their childhood, but looking back, you might think my childhood was fine. You have to find where the wound was, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I every now and then somebody has a hard time with that. The process I go through is we come up with a couple of different wounding experiences. I actually use this to create marketing for my people.
Wounding experiences for marketing.
Yeah. Well, because in your wounding experience, there is emotions that you feel. And those are the same emotions that your people are feeling right now about their problems. And there's also emotions that you crave. And in order to get the things that you want, you build a skill set. And the emotions that you craved in your wounding are the same emotions that your people that you're meant to serve are craving now in their pain. So those become your away from and towards motivators, those emotions. And then the skill set that you built to get away from the feelings you didn't want to feel and to get more of what you did want to feel, that skill set becomes your unique marketing position. That's what makes you unique in the world, so that you can call in exactly your right tribe. So when we do this process and we go to the wounding, so the wounding has a reason. We're not just, down here on the planet being masochists. The wounding has a real reason for happening. And when we go through that process of pulling these gifts out and beginning to use these gifts and wrapping them into our marketing, then what happens is the wounds begin to heal, and they're no longer triggers in our life, so that when the wound comes up, you can go, before the wound would come up and it would knock you off track for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And now when you do the work, the wound pops up and you're like, oh, I see you. Okay, I'm going back to doing work, right? Like it's that fast.
Yeah.
Because there's not the emotional trigger once you do the work. I can't remember how we got over here.
Neither can I, but it's fine. It's great. Carry on.
So I actually really love looking into people's wounds, helping them pull out the gifts. And I will tell you that some childhood experiences are horrific. I've heard really horrible things. And some wounds are like, my brothers always stole my money from me. I actually think it was my sister, but we won't put blame on it. But my younger siblings, whenever I had money, no matter how well I hid it, they would take it. And, that created a wound in me around it's not safe to have money, that I have had to work like crazy to get over so that I can have money. So it can be, this different level, but all wounds affect us. So it's not like one wound is better than another. They're all there, and we all have those incidences, and they don't necessarily have to be a trauma. It could be something as simple as your dad coming home every day tired and saying, leave me alone and let me watch TV. And then you grow up feeling like your voice doesn't matter. Right? It can be that simple of a wound. So it doesn't have to be a big traumatic event to count.
No, it just becomes ingrained, doesn't it? And like I say, it pops up subconsciously. You don't even realize that that's the reason why, but it's, it has a long-term effect on you. That's really powerful. So if you, let's say somebody's just starting their business and they're not they're not growing as fast as they want, but they've got like big visions. How can they move towards those big visions from where they are? How can they be the 6-figure earner when they're not yet?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. I always start by going inward, right? Because when I was younger, I was involved in a network marketing company, and always amazed me how 2 different people could do the exact same thing and have completely different results. And that is what's coming from the inside. So we start by going inward. We look at the wounds. If I have a core belief that as a girl, I'll never make as much as the boys, or I'm not allowed to make as much as the boys, because that would upset the family balance, then I'm going to cap my income. I'm going to limit myself. And I have to discover what those beliefs are. And then I have to change the beliefs before I can have the success. So we start by going inward and we look at that. I also, with my clients, like to look at what is the ancestral beliefs that are being handed down. If you've got an ancestral belief that, you've got to work hard your whole life and scrape by and hope that half of your children survive, that's going to affect both the way you work and the results that you're able to bring in. We've got to clear those ancestral beliefs and clear the way for you to really tap into the abundance that is your birthright. And then there's the past lives, vows and contracts that come up all the time. And I work with a lot of women who have lived their past, in the past lives, they've been witches, they've been high priestesses, they've had a lot of power, leaders of armies, that kind of thing. And because something happened, they took a vow. And oftentimes, like the ancient witches, they often will take a vow to stay hidden with their magic. Then you pop into this life as a healer, and you've got this ancient vow you don't even know about that says, stay hidden, stay hidden, stay hidden, because if you don't, you're going to get burned at the stake, right? That's going to affect what they do in their business and how visible they allow themselves to be, how many people get to hear about what they do, which is going to affect how many people are able to hire them. So I just go inward and do that kind of.
How can you break that though? Because that's like from years and years ago. It's not something that you can remember. I remember doing a past life meditation once, and I used to be a witch, but I was I was loved by the people around me, but I was free. I didn't charge for my services. It was a gift that I enjoyed giving people. So I never received money from that. But that's something that I've identified from doing some work, but it's still very difficult to get over it, because it's like I say, it's past vows from years ago.
Yeah, I do. I work in the Akashic records when I do that. And so sometimes it's really just verbally letting go. And then I will see the record keepers actually either burning the contract or sweeping it away. Or
I love that.
I'm auditory and visual. in how I connect with source. And so I use a deeper tool to do that. If you're doing it yourself, part of it is recognizing it.
Yeah.
You know, you just, oh, this holds me back. And then you begin to build a new belief. So for you, you know, you came in and you had this vow that you were giving away your magic for free. And you could even just say, I'm going to rewrite that and write yourself a new contract.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, you can write the old contract, take it out, put it in a burn bowl. You can put it in your barbecue. I have a burn bowl because I used to use my cast iron skillet to burn in. And my husband's like, you know, we eat out of that. It's a tool, it works. But you can use your barbecue. You can use, you know, something that you can burn it with a little bit of, I was taught by a Native American shaman to use a little bit of sweetgrass and a little bit of sage and burn it. And while you're burning it, say a prayer to release that vow.
Okay.
And then write your own new contract with yourself that, you know, my gifts are meant to support me abundantly in this life.
Do I burn the new vow?
No, keep the new one. Burn the old one.
Okay. I shall be doing that. Yes. Thank you. I like that.
And then understand that when we get into the energy of money and the way that money works, money is an energy of appreciation and it's got to be exchanged. So if you are giving your services away, then it doesn't have as much, I don't know what to call it, magic. It doesn't have as much energy as if they are giving you the appreciation back in the form of money.
Yes, that makes sense.
So money elevates your healing. Money is able to put its energy into elevating your healing. And if you give it away without taking money for it, you create karmic debt for the other person because now they owe you a chunk of energy back. So you've given a chunk of your energy to them. They owe you a chunk of energy back, and they can give that back in the form of money, or they walk away owing you. And we don't want to put that on our clients.
No. Wow. That's really powerful. I hadn't even, that gives a different spin on how you charge for things, doesn't it? If you don't want to give somebody else karmic debt, what the heck?
Yeah, exactly.
That's really mean, actually.
And I always respect that my clients are, you know, whole, competent people who can figure out how to come up with the money to pay me. I don't have to do that for them. I respect them enough to know that they are creative, resourceful, and whole.
Yeah. Perfect. Wow. So what about some tips to activate the feminine power centers within you? How can people do that? Oh, now you just got excited then.
Well, that's one. Like I gave my body a little jiggle. So the feminine is really rooted in our bodies. So one of the things is just to really root in your body every day. Start your day by grounding into Mama Earth. If you can, if there's not snow on the ground, although I've had clients do this where they're like, I just stood on the snow, but stand on the earth with your bare feet and feel the energy of Mama Earth.
We're talking about outside now.
Outside.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you can do this inside, and I'm a wuss when it comes to cold. Even though I live in California, I'm like, it's only going to be 53 today. I'm freezing. So I'll do it inside as well. But, you know, it's really great if you can get outside and touch your feet to the earth. Feel that energy. Another thing is to turn on some high vibe music and move your body. Nobody around, just you. Don't worry about your moves. Just let your body move to the rhythm of the music. And that's another great way to activate your feminine. And then because the feminine is so creative, if you, even if you're not an artist, and if I practiced all the time, I would be an artist. So I'm kind of a hobby artist.
Yeah.
So I paint and I draw, but you don't even have to know what you're doing. Just get some crayons out and just begin to draw something that delights you. Draw colors. don't even put shapes down if you don't want to. But the feminine is creative. So if you can get out of your head and into that creativity by moving your body. And I love great big sheets of paper and oil pastel crayons. They're you can get them at any hobby store or art supply store. They're a little greasier than regular crayons, so you can actually get your fingers in there and push the colors around and really be in that very creative space. Wow. So that's another thing that I'll do, or I'll teach my clients to do, to help them get out of their head and into their bodies and into their feminine.
You know, that's really, I mean, I do listen to high vibe music. I don't go outside with my feet on the cold floor, but when you're talking about art, I have been like this, it started a few months ago. I'm just thinking, I need to do some artwork. I need to paint, and I haven't done it yet. I've just been like, oh no, Tara, you're crap at painting. Come on, let's not waste paper and let's not waste paint. So I haven't done any, but I had a real need to do something like that, but I haven't allowed myself to. I've stopped myself because of my level of competency in painting. But as an expression, it's different.
Yes. And it's not about making fine art. It's about allowing your creativity to come through. It's about just allowing yourself to have fun with the medium. And if you're saying paint, I mean, you can get canvases now so cheaply, not the great big ones. If you're going to do a great one, it's going to cost some money. But they make student level canvases. And I do a lot of painting on just the little student level, 8x8 canvases, because it allows me to play with paint, and like that canvas hanging on the wall. That's something that I painted a couple years ago, just for my own enjoyment.
Yeah.
So
do you do these every day, or is this something that you just whenever you feel like it?
No, I tend to go in rhythms. So sometimes I'll be really into painting and I'll paint a whole lot. Sometimes I shut that away because paints are messy, and I have grandkids around and they want to paint, and I'll pull out colored pencils. And sometimes I go to needle crafts and I'll knit or cross stitch, but I always have something going on. And, during the day, I'm doing a lot of writing, content creation, that kind of stuff. So that's very creative too. But I always have something creative that I can pick up and put my fingers in and get my head out of the equation, because my head thinks it knows everything. My head actually knows a lot, but it's not designed to make decisions or manifest things or call things in. So I have to get out of my head and back into my body. And that's one of the ways that I do that.
What do you mean your head isn't for making decisions and manifesting?
Oh, no. Our heads, this is so contrary to everything we've been taught in Western society. Our heads are designed to gather information and to store data. That's it. Okay. Our bodies are designed for making decisions. And if you look at human design, which is a super complicated thing, but it is. People have, those who know human design will understand. Otherwise, y'all start researching it. But our bodies are really designed to give us the clues to make decisions. And different people have different centers of deciding. So some people are very gut oriented. They know in their gut, if you say to them, am I the right coach? They can say, uh-huh, or uh-uh.
Yeah.
Is this the right program? Uh-huh, uh-uh. Should you go down this road with your business? Uh-huh, or uh-uh. And they just know with their gut. Other people are in their hearts, and they have to go through this emotional wave. And in the emotional wave, there's this moment where they know, but it's in their heart. It's not on a pros and cons list. It's in their heart, and they know, and they won't be able to tell you why the decision is right, only that they had that moment from their heart. And then there are other people that are much rarer who just know, right? They will be able to tell you this decision is right or not right. Yeah. And they just know. But again, that's coming from their body and their body knowing. I'll tell you a little story about that. when we bought this house, you're all going to laugh. When we bought the house that I'm in, we went into a 7-week remodel. And we redid all the bathrooms, and we weren't expecting to buy. And so, I was choosing all the bathroom stuff and new flooring and new paint and all this stuff. And the contractor was saying to me, I need the mirrors for the guest bathroom. You don't have the mirrors. What mirrors? We need to put them up. We need to know where the trim's going to go. So I went to Home Depot. I closed my eyes and I walked down the row of mirrors because I couldn't decide. All of my deciding was done. Yeah. Right? I used it all up. And I waited for a pussy tingle. And when I tingled, I stopped and my body said, yep. And I opened my eyes and those were the mirrors I bought. And they're perfect.
What's a pussy tingle?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Okay, but does pussy mean the same to you in the US as it does to me in the UK? I'm not really sure.
It is your sexual organs. Tingling. Okay,
yes. Oh, yes, that's the same thing then. I've never bought a mirror on a pussy tingle. Maybe I should try it.
But it was this point where I just couldn't trust anything else. And I had to let my body make the decision because all of the decisions I had made in the previous 2 months, I had run out. I'd really run out of being able to make a decision. And so that's just an example of how you can use your body in the decision making. And that's a very feminine thing to do. That's
amazing though. I mean, I don't listen to my body, I suppose, enough. I use my energy, but I'm more in control of it than it being in control of me. So that's completely different.
And when you're in the control of it, you're in your head. You're not using the tool of your body that we were given. And we're taught that. We're taught to stay in our heads from the time we're in preschool. So we have to reteach ourselves how to use our body, how to be in our body. Even just like, do I want an apple or an orange? We don't often tap into, okay, belly, do you want apple or orange in there? Digestive system, what do you most need? Like, do we need the vitamins or the fiber? Like, we don't let our body even decide simple things like, what are we going to feed it?
That's amazing. I love that. I love the idea of doing that.
It's fun. It's a fun practice, and it makes life so much easier. If I can be talking to a prospect and I can just tap into my heart and say, am I the right person for them? Because I don't want to sign up somebody, if I'm talking to somebody who's meant to coach with you, I want them to sign up with you. My ego says I want them all, right? But my soul is like, I only want the ones I'm here to serve, because those are the people I can serve the best and they'll get the most out of it. Yeah. And so if I can tap into my body, and I will often, when I'm on a sales call, I will do this. I will say, let me tap in now. Let me stop. And I will actually take a breath. I'll tap into the records and I'll tap into my body, and I'll check to make sure that I'm feeling a resonance, that I'm feeling that I am the right person to help them.
Yeah.
And then I make an offer to them. But if I'm not feeling that, then I will tell them, I don't think I'm the right person, and maybe Tara is, maybe somebody else is. Let me refer you out.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I have been looking at some of the things you offer, and I have to say, I said this to my daughter, I love the fact that you have got the feminine business Sistermind, not mastermind. I was like, oh my God, boom. I love that. That just stood out to me. I was like, I've never seen anybody change that. And that was just amazing. I love it.
Thank you. I can't even remember. I think one of my clients a few years ago said it, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. I use the word mastermind so easily. It just rolls off my tongue, but I've never thought of the fact that it says master at the beginning until I saw your website. I was like, oh my goodness, that is just...
Thank you. I love that.
I definitely love that. So that's one of the ways that if my listeners wanted to get in touch with you and work with you, is the feminine business Sistermind the best way for them to do that?
Well, we have a couple of different programs we'll be launching in the new year.
Okay.
I'm assuming this will air somewhere around then. And so, yes, we'll be launching a new Sistermind. We're actually calling goddesses as in we are the creators of our life.
Oh, I use goddess in my coaching as well. So yeah, I love that name too. Goddesses are amazing.
Yeah. So I'm starting a new Sistermind in the new year to guide women. I also will be doing a small group program just focused on opening the flow for money and mastering. I know we just said master is masculine, but like getting a handle on how your manifesting mojo works. So really teaching the manifesting principles and opening the flow of money. We'll be doing a small group there. And then I have my Facebook community, which is free, that you can join at Feminine. Wow. Now this went out of my head. Maybe not. But we'll put it in the show notes. You can find it. Feminine Business Magic. That's what it is. Feminine Business Magic on Facebook.
Okay.
And we do a ton of business building, free stuff, rituals, challenges, all kinds of stuff in there. So it's really fun. And we brag every Wednesday. We're filming this on a Wednesday. We brag so that women get in the habit of talking about themselves in a way that's positive and expansive. So we're bragging today.
Oh, we're bragging today. Today's the bragging day, is it?
Today is a bragging day. Yes.
Okay. Bragging's good. We shy away from bragging. We shy away from compliments, don't we? Somebody says, oh, that's amazing, or you look great or anything. We don't know how to handle things like that.
Even my 10-year-old granddaughter, I said something the other day about your hair looks great. And she was like, and turned and walked away, shrunk down. And I was like, no. You come back here and receive that.
Yes, good for you. You got to not train them, but you got to, allow them to step into their goddess energy before it gets taken away from them.
Absolutely. Yes.
Perfect. So if my clients want to get in touch with you, the best way is through your Facebook page, or
the Facebook group is first. They can also go to my website, juliefoucht.com, and get in touch with me there. And we'll have all kinds of info about the new Sistermind that is forming to take us through 2022, doubling, tripling our incomes, creating more of a influence and impact on the world. And I use both words because we do the masculine and the feminine, influence and impact on the world, and to really elevate and uplift women.
And you also have a free book on your website that I've seen as well.
We do. And actually, we have just released a new free book, and it is The Wise Witch, Rituals to Raise Your Vibration and Increase Your Income. And it's 5 of my favorite practices.
I haven't seen that one. I've just seen the Art of Feminine Marketing.
Yeah, this one's brand new. So we'll have it out in time for your audience, and we'll make sure you get a copy of that. And then we also have you can go to Amazon and buy my book that gets really deep into love-based feminine marketing and some of the strategies some of the things we've talked about, but the strategies to market your business in a feminine way. And that's for sale on Amazon.
Excellent. I'll definitely put the links in the show notes so people can whiz over there and grab those as well. Thank you so much for joining us today, Julie. It's been really, really eye-opening, and I just love the work that you're doing and how you're doing it, and your energy as well. It's just amazing. I love that we've connected on here today.
Thank you. I receive all of that.
Yes, receive it. It's a brag day. You can go and brag about that today.
I will brag today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care.
Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Happy, Inspired, Motivated podcast. I'll be back next week bringing more meditation, mindset, and motivation for your happy and successful life. To find out more about our community, go to tarachatzakis.com/happy, inspired, motivated.